had this brilliant idea that I was gonna do this week's video from this here point, which is basically it's the harbor. I really did think this was a brilliant plan to come and do the clip from here today. There is just this piece around here, but too much noise, and also we are close to the airport, so there is plane noise, there is the highway noise where there is cars, and also there's a train rail just close by. Anyways, as I was saying, this is the sound of a train, and of course the cars, because it's the freeway, and fortunately no plane in the meantime. So yeah, as I was saying, I do not get why it's not talked about. Welcome back, Ghetto newbies. Welcome back to the Ghetto Planet. Today's topic is very sensitive. Not that the others were not, but this is one of many that are kind of taboo to talk about or are talked about hush hush. So yeah, depression is real, and depression kills. I have heard of many silent killers, but I never had depression spoken of in the same breath. Though saying that, I stand corrected because I don't get to hear everything, and I don't get to know everything in regard to a topic. This is how we got started with this word thing, because I needed educating in some of those that I didn't specialize in or know so much about. Even if I've experienced or read about, I needed more education because it wasn't my area. As I was saying, mental wellness deserves to be prioritized. Doesn't need to take the back bench. It needs to be at the forefront. Some of our mental imbalances stem from culture or / traditions. This strains from trying to stay true to those, then create buried emotions, buried feels, a lot of buried us within that trying to stay true. Just to point out a few of how that affects us on our daily basis or daily lives. We've heard a lot, all of us, regardless of ethnicities or races. We've heard how men don't cry. We've heard how big girls don't cry. Instead, they put on big girls' panties and go on. We've also heard, do not overshare. How do you know if your story is the one that's going to change someone's life? How do you know that your story is the one that will eventually knock into someone's senses and realize that their partners, their relatives, their co-workers are not pretending, or they are overreacting over small things? So I call bull to that. I don't mind what you call, but I call bull on that. Yes, to me it sounds like a whole lot of bullshit. When I come to think of, especially when I come to think of, where does one pick all that? Where do all those feels and emotions go? Where in the body is a designated place for those emotions, mindsets, are supposed to be placed? Which space accommodates that? Is it in your brains? In your soul? In the body? Where? Again, I stand corrected. There is no space. designated, pressed down feelings, for the oppressed feelings, or for the feelings, emotions, and everything that's supposed to be hidden and kept to self. Maybe I might have missed this at school, in class, because I was not there on the day they were teaching that or talking about that allocated space. Or maybe I was there but sleeping. But I'd be damned to think that we do have space for all those emotions somewhere within. With all that going on, no space. I tend to wonder why people are depressed. All the conceptions pressed on us through socialization don't come with tools on then what? After suppressing those emotions, those feels, those cultures, those traditions, then what? Yo, let's not put this on our cultures only, because there is so much beauty in our cultures. At least I know there is in my culture. Religions, as we know them now, also play an important role in mental imbalances. How one could contemplate or ask me or themselves. Well, come to think of it, a lot of the word that's shared in different religions, it's by and is how the deliverer, how the sharer interprets it. Nothing less, nothing more. Or how they were taught at school to interpret it. So yes, culture / traditions, religion / Christianity, or the proper way that applies to you, also plays a role in causing those imbalances in our brains. Again, socialization doesn't equip us with tools on how to deal. So where does it go? How then does it come out? How do we get it out of our systems, out of our bodies that are ridden with all these suppressed feelings, emotions, mentalities? What's the way forward? Politics is another factor. I mean, do I really need to explain this one? Nope. That now is on you to figure out. That now is on you to look around you and see how politics play a role in causing our imbalances. Though saying that it's on you, I will leave you with an example on how politics play havoc to our mental well-being. Try and imagine a country where employment is 0 to 0 point nothing, or a country where people are highly educated but no work thereafter, or a country that doesn't have an economy almost operating on paper notes, the old way as you know it, where you have a barrier, a paper stating you owe someone something like that. Imagine in this day and time a country that's operating on that. And I'm talking before Corona. We are not even gonna go on to what Corona has done. Because when a country is already like that, then how is it gonna be able to help Let's take depression serious. Don't ever brush off someone who voices this out. Someone that comes outright and say, I am overwhelmed and I can't be my normal self anymore. I am trying, but I just can't. Never brush them away. They are not oversharing. They are not playing victim. They are not seeking validation or sympathy. They're being real. Real as a suicide. No one wants to have depression. No one allows it to take over their being. That's a fact. Because that feeling is not joyful to handle. And that feeling is not something that someone wants to deal with day in, day out. It's just like a demon that one has to fight every day. Like I talked about when I mentioned addiction on the previous week's clip. So yeah, depression comes to us in all sorts of shapes at different times, at different stages of our life. And depression can be passed on, biological. It can be geographical too. But if there's one thing that depression is not, it is not age restrictive and does not gender select. Just that it's high on a certain gender. In my little space, my little brain, as I said again last week, I want to think that it is high on specific genders due to the system, due to the fact of how the world is really built around us, and also due to the fact that, as I was saying in the beginning about culture, there will be amongst all of us a group that will be ready to admit they're in that state, that will be ready to go and seek help. Thus, statistics getting created, and that's how we get to hear which group has a high percent of suffering. Not only that, please hear me clearly. I am not saying statistic is lying. I am not saying statistic is wrong. Again, the system is built so that that particular group that ends up in the high risk group of suffering from depression is underdog, is second rate or even third rate in some cultures, in some traditions, in some religions. Never mind in politics, where there is decision beings. Depression is real and it kills. Do take care of your mental space. Do take care of your mental well-being. With that note, Geranobias, today's word, I leave it here. There might be need for me to revisit it, just as much as there might be need for me to do narcissistic behaviors on narcissist people again, because these are big, broad topics. And as it is today on depression, I just mentioned how it's received. I just mentioned how we see it. I didn't go into details of how can we control or what kind of help one needs. But I'll leave you with this. For help, you need medical assistance, you need a therapist, your usual doctor, physician, and a dietitian, personal trainer, all coming together to help you realize this, all coming together to help you get out of that. So yes, good people, depression is real and we can strive to ignore it or come outright and talk about it. With that said, Ghetto Nubians, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment down below, and educate me down below. So once again, Ghetto Nubians, see you next time with a new word for my education and for your education too. With that,